About 4 years ago, let's see, I put these slides together. About 4 years ago, I was a full-time vocational Christian pastor on the college campus. I love what I did. The opportunity to be on the college campus, with 18 to 20-year-olds and helping them really think about the big questions of life, more than just frat parties and football games was really, really special. We were donor funded, meaning we raised every dollar we needed to support our ministry, to put food on the table, to pay health insurance, all of that. And I remember this day really clearly. I just finished up a Bible study with a couple fraternity guys. I was sitting on the campus. It was a beautiful day, and one of the young men that was on our staff team, was previously a student, a guy that I discipled and mentored. He came on staff with our ministry, was raising support, and I could see him coming from across the campus. And this was a very, how can I explain it? He was a former football player, really optimistic guy, but that day something was different. And I could see it on his face. And when you're on the college campus and everybody's young and good looking, you're thinking oh crap, what'd this guy do? He gets to me, and before he could take a breath, I'm like, what happened? And he looked at me and he said, man, nothing happened. I was like, well, what's wrong? And these words changed my life, changed my mission. He said, I don't have enough money this month to buy groceries. And I would say in that moment, my entire mission changed, because up to that point in my life, I didn't want anything to do with money, right? I saw my parents get divorced and how money was an issue, and I had so much money baggage. But in that moment, I saw a guy who loved God, who loved people, who wanted to live a big purpose for his life. You know the one thing that he needed in that moment? Money. There was no question. It didn't matter how good or bad I thought money was. The thing he needed was money. And the reason I shared that story with you is because what created in that moment for me was desire. And the only thing there's a couple things I just want to give you today is, I heard Mark Moss talking about this. The thing that I see people walk away from something like this and be successful about, or we run a real estate coaching community, the most successful people that I find are not the most qualified. You know what they are? The most desperate. They have the biggest desire. And the reason, if I can just be blunt and honest with you today, because I really care and I want to see your life change, the reason why most of you won't do anything after this conference, the reason why most things will not change, is because if 12 months from now, if you don't take any action, nothing will change in your life. You're already successful enough. It doesn't matter if you don't do anything. Me, transitioning out of ministry, I had 4 months to figure it out. I had no other solution but to go figure it out. And so I just encourage you today is, all of you got into this space, or all of you are entrepreneurial or figuring out investing because at some point you probably had a desire to change, a desire to figure it out. And so connect to that, because it's so important, is your desire. The second thing I would just share is your ability to take action. The faster you can take action on something, the better. So I'll tell you that story. I was driving in the car and a radio ad come on and said, if you want to learn how to build wealth through real estate, come to this 2-hour conference. And, radio ads are meant for the desperate, And so that was me. So I'm like, I'm in, I don't know what else to do. But I had already made the decision to become wealthy. And so I went, and it was life-changing. It was a room like this, full of decently looking people, right? But I'm joking with you, guys look great. But my point is, what I saw in that moment was that there was a bunch of people who didn't come from a bunch of wealth or family office or big money. They had a desire to go figure it out, and they were using real estate to do it. And so 4 months after that conference, mind you, I had never heard anything about real estate. This was the first thing I'd ever been to. They were like, go invest in real estate. So here's me, right? And I don't know if I'd recommend how I did it, but we took action. We bought a duplex in San Diego, California. We had a family member help us purchase it. And I just remember it was my ability, and this is the thing that I would share that's been so helpful. It's my ability to take action fast. So whatever you've learned today, go take action, because that duplex turned into a 20, the next deal we bought was, actually this is not the next deal, but this is a 20-unit deal in San Diego. This is another 89-unit deal that we bought in Kansas City. This is another 95-unit deal that we've been able to purchase. 200 units that we purchased last year, more than 1,000 units in the last 3.5 years. Why? Definitely not because I'm qualified. It's because I have an incredible desire and the ability to take action. And so there's those things I just wanted to share with you today. And one other thing I would just share is, if there's a tip or advice is, that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. This is a small community, this real estate space. And it takes a tribe. And so this is our community, Kingdom Real Estate Investors. And this has been one of the greatest decisions that I've ever done really, I would say, if I look back in my career, is building a community or joining a community of like-minded people that you can lock arms with. Because, especially as you go bigger, there's so many ways to partner in this space. And so I would just, don't leave here today without making connections. If you're not part of a group or a community, consider joining one, even if you know it all already, because of the resources, the collaboration. And this has, been one of the big reasons why we've been able to grow and scale our portfolio and even have the support that we do today. And so, these are some folks from our community, folks who've come in just like me, not having much background, but be able to break into real estate, be able to break into larger real estate deals because they had a community around them. And so those are the few things I wanted to share, guys. If you're interested, come or want to chat more, come visit me at the booth. Right now, we're inside of our program, inside of our community, we're focused on teaching Christian professionals how to break into small to medium multifamily, typically like the 5 to 50 unit space. To give you a quick stat, over the last year, 80% of the transaction volume from a year ago in multifamily has dropped off. That means if you're trying to enter into multifamily today, you have the same amount of buyers and 80% less deals. It's impossible for you to break in. I'm going to just be honest with you. You will not buy a large multifamily deal in 2024 if you don't already have a portfolio. You don't stand a chance. The only opportunity you have to break into multifamily in 2024 is to go direct to seller and go smaller. So take that for what it's worth. But if you want a coach in a community to really come alongside of you and teach you how to go do that, come check me out at the booth. I'll be here till 3 o'clock. And we also have a weekly podcast show called the Kingdom REI, Kingdom Real Estate Investors. And we do weekly interviews, interviewed Bronson recently. And we focus, I would say we're like an 80-20 show. We talk about, it's a real estate show, but I like talking about faith and other things a lot more than I do real estate. So it's a pretty entertaining show. Would love to have you guys as listeners. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you at lunch. Cheers.